Welcome everybody. I'm going to be talking about the Lucario buffs and changes, but quickly before I get into that, I want to make a disclaimer for you to check out the description below. There is a link to the very same Google Sheet that I use in all my videos, and most importantly, you can check here at the bottom. There is a search all moves here guide, and you can check out all of the move buffs and changes because every move in this hack is buffed or changed, and there are 100 plus custom new ones. So yeah, definitely give that a look. But with that being said, we've got Lucario. And my man, base Lucario, actually has fallen off a lot since Gen 4. So they definitely needed some buffs and changes. I mean, again, like I said in my guard jump video, everything needs buffs and changes, even if it's good. And that also includes Mega Lucario. Keep in mind, Mega Lucario will probably be, pretty late in the game, relatively, probably one of the later Mega Evolutions, just because it's very strong. But honestly, with the great power levels in this hack and all of the priority flying around, fast offensive Pokemon aren't as crazy as they used to be. There's also tons of crazy bulky stuff and all kinds of other stuff that you can use as counterplay. You got the Parting Shot TM and Battle Cry on everything and all kinds of other really important stuff. So nothing too crazy, but you know, he is super strong. But the main allure here is that, so essentially, they all have really cool abilities. So base Lucario has an ability called Sixth Sense that makes essentially it's basically no guard because it doesn't get any moves that won't be 100% accurate for the most part because it's a 30% accuracy boost with Sixth Sense from Compound Eyes, and then Mega Launcher, which fits very well given that he is this Aura Pokemon and he fires off of these balls, you know, Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse. It's pretty cool. I think it's a thematically fitting ability, and it turns his it actually makes his Aura Sphere and Dark Pulse combo stronger than Mega Lucario because Mega Lucario gets stabbed on Dark Pulse with versatility and the same boost as actually a weaker boost than Mega Launcher because Mega Launcher boosts by 50%. Adaptability is just turn stab into 2 times. So Aura Sphere plus Mega Launcher is actually a 2.25 times boost. While, like for example, Adaptability Mega Launcher is, Adaptability Aura Sphere is what, 90? Let's do the math real quick. 90 times 2, which is at 180. Wait, 90 times 2 is 180 versus 90 times 1.5 times 1.5. Yeah, over 20 base power stronger, and of course, you can hold an item on Lucario, so you can run a Life Orb, and your Aura Spheres will be doing more damage than Mega Lucario's Aura Sphere, if I'm pretty sure at least. And the speed difference isn't too much. Obviously, that 10 base speed is pretty important. Not to mention, yeah, base Lucario is way faster. 550 base out total is relatively standard for a lot of Pokemon. There's plenty of 2-stage Pokemon in this hack that are 550, and Lucario is kind of like I'm gonna say a pseudo-legendary, but like, you know, it's like a special Pokemon, so it fits very well to have that base out total anyways. Not to mention, I give that to a bunch of Pokemon anyways, but yeah, Mega Launcher is pretty cool. Again, you got that Dark Pulse combo with Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere is 90 now, Dark Pulse is 85. And those are both very good coverage. And then, you know, for those fairies that will resist that combination, you have stuff like Mirror Shot and Flash Cannon for those special sets. Flash Cannon being 110 base power, so that's very strong. Speaking of Flash Cannon, because other than that, by the way, with Mega Launcher, keep in mind in this ROM hack you do have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can easily switch between abilities, and you have access to infinite EV training, so you can easily switch around your EVs. So for one boss fight, you can run max special attack, next boss fight, run max physical attack. You know, you swap that around depending on the situation. You got tons of great TMs. You don't even have to use your level up moves if you don't want to, although of course, you know, you might want to keep those for priority moves and great utility moves and coverage moves and stuff. So those are kind of like I delete them as I go type deal, while the TMs and tutors you cycle between. But if you like really want the priority Mach Punch, Vacuum Waver, Bullet Punch, you can keep those. You also have First Impression via TM, which is cool. But yeah, and Sucker Punch as well. So it's not like you're completely removing all your priority options when you delete the level up ones. But those ones are obviously very strong, especially with adaptability on Mega Lucario. But yeah, Mega Launcher is really cool because yeah, there is an accuracy guide. So if you click Sixth Sense here on the move sheet, on the ability, oh my goodness, on the main sheet, it'll take you to the ability sheet where I listed all of the inaccurate moves in the hack because most moves are not inaccurate anymore in this hack. Tons and tons of, like, the vast majority of attacking moves are 100% accurate, and then the only ones that are inaccurate are 85, 90, or 95% accurate. There's like 5 moves that are less than 85% accurate in this game. So yeah, just because I want things to be more consistent and stuff. Not to mention, I did balance this for Nuzlocke, so that 15% chance to miss can still mean death. So that's why, like, because in a Nuzlocke, that risk and reward for inaccurate moves is almost never worth it. Of course, in competitive, it's always worth it because that DPS is super important. But that's not the case. You know, you can sack your Mons and let them die whenever you want in competitive and revenge kill stuff. But in a Nuzlocke, that's not ideal. Not, you know, and again, if you are playing not a Nuzlocke, that's totally fine. But this is just what I balanced it for a little bit. At least when it comes to moves and all that stuff, I wanted to be more considerate of that. But yeah, Sixth Sense is really cool, and Mega Launcher is really cool. Mega Launcher also works with Dragon Pulse, which is 150 base power with Mega Launcher, and has a 30% paralysis rate. And then there's one more, Water Pulse. Water Pulse is pretty cool too with 90 base power. It's just a decent coverage move. It's pretty cool. It can hit some stuff, but most importantly, you have that Aura Sphere plus Dark Pulse combo, which is really powerful. Aura Sphere especially being incredibly powerful with Mega Launcher. And then Sixth Sense is very cool. Again, like I said, it turns your moves into 100% accurate for the most part. So not only do you have that 110 base speed, which again, if you do check out the speed tier guide here, you can see where Lucario actually stacks up currently. It's not actually that crazy. Also, logically, I think Sixth Sense fits very well. He's this Aura Pokemon, and he senses auras and stuff, so same with Mega Launcher, he shoots out these auras. Here literally says it's powerful enough to pulverize huge rocks, and he uses these waves to take down his prey, so that's why Mega Launcher fits in really well in my opinion. And yeah, 110 base speed here, you can see 120, you can see all the stuff in between, and all the stuff you would be missing out on outspeeding. And of course, this will be added on as I go on with all the other Pokemon changes, but yeah, not that giant of a difference, it's just, yeah. And of course, you're not going to be having Mega Lucario for the whole game anyways, and you might want to run another Mega Evolution. I did balance all Megas so that the base form is at least situationally better than the Mega in a lot of cases because it can hold an item, and item freedom is really important in a hack where there's a lot of difficulty. You're going to want to be able to be strategic with your item choices, not just slot that Mega. You might need a Sash, you might need a super effective berry, you might need a choice item, you might need a buffed Quick Claw, which always triggers now. You got all kinds of really fun options you can mess around with. But yeah, that's the speed tier guy. But back to the ability Sixth Sense for Lucario. You have tons of really cool stuff. So as you can see here, he has Knockout Punch, which is 130 base power. That will never miss with, none of these moves will miss with Sixth Sense. Okay, these all become 100% accurate for the most, actually literally every single one of them, because he doesn't get any of these ones on the top. So yeah, Knockout Punch won't miss, 130 base power, and that makes the opponent drowsy, which is super cool. That's just a really nice effect. And then you have Focus Blast, which is super strong. That is 130 base power as well, 85% accurate, again 100%. I'm just going to list all these as 100% accuracy just for Sixth Sense purposes. That is 5 base power weaker than Mega Launcher Aura Sphere, but of course the benefit of having Sixth Sense is that you can use stuff like, for example, Stab Flash Cannon, which is 90% accurate, 110 base power, and that won't miss ever. For special sets, Sixth Sense is still great. Not to mention you can also run, is there any other special Sixth Sense moves? I think actually it might just be those two. Which isn't bad. I mean, Focus Blast plus Flash Cannon is plenty. Physically, though, you have tons of coverage moves as well. So physically, you have stuff like Megaton Kick, which is 90% accurate, 120 base power, as well as Stone Edge. So both of those moves are really good with Sixth Sense on physical sets. And then, of course, you have very powerful stab moves with Sixth Sense. So Iron Tail is the same thing as Flash Cannon, just physical. So that's great for Steel-type stab. And then you have tons of coverage moves. Fighting-type moves, excuse me. For example, High Jump Kick, Triple Kick, which is, actually, this should be 135. 153, 135. In fact, let me put, hold on. 35, 80... 135 base power. There we go. I don't know why that math has been off for a while. But yeah, 135 base power Triple Kick, which is really strong, and that hits 3 times with Sixth Sense. Of course, you're guaranteed to get 3 hits, and that will be incredible to bypass stuff like Sturdy, Focus Sash, and Multiscale, and a bunch of other stuff, Energy Shield, etc. So that's really strong to have Triple Kick. Of course, that's not that great on Mega Lucario, although honestly, if you're feeling ballsy and you're not doing an Nuzlocke, go ahead. But in a Nuzlocke, I would not run Triple Kick. You have close combat right there for the consistency if you want a strong move, physical move. And then of course you can just slap on a more reliable move like Drain Punch or something else like that. But yeah, I think there might be one more I'm missing, but it doesn't matter. A couple of these moves as well are pretty cool, like Sky Uppercut and Meteor Mash, Blaze Kick, Rock Slide. Those are all the moves that you have that won't miss anymore either. Health Rust, etc. So yeah, tons of great coverage moves and tons of great stab moves with Sixth Sense. It's just a great ability and it fits very well. So you're basically trading off that massive power with Aura Sphere for the high power inaccuracy moves. I know you also get to use physicals. That's what Sixth Sense, while Mega Launcher is purely special. And as for Mega Lucario, you retain adaptabilities, 120 base speed just because of all the speed creep in this hack and all the higher speed tiers. 120 is pretty fair for him. And then he's like relatively tanky, not really, but like, Fighting Steel is a pretty good typing. It's actually a very good typing, so you can take some hits, especially stuff like First Impression and U-Turn and stuff, which are very common offensive moves now. Those are really nice to be able to switch in on. And then you have those 145 offenses, which honestly, in the grand scheme of this hack, aren't that crazy with his abilities, although the speed and the move pool is what makes him pretty crazy. Nothing overpowered, but it is very strong. It's very versatile, hence the ability versatility. The main reason I chose versatility is just because I wanted an ability that was as good as adaptability, and there was really none. So, you you're basically trading. You basically use that ability capsule for one boss fight. You need that massive power with adaptability. Not to mention, fighting and steel is a great offensive combination. That's why Mega Loop was banned in vanilla OU. But of course, this is not competitive, nor is it vanilla. So those two things are irrelevant. But I still figured I'd mention it because we all know how powerful adaptability is on Mega Luke, but then you have versatility, which actually gives, it's Protean, okay? It's simple. Although, keep in mind, Protean is actually not that. Don't get me wrong, it's great. It's very strong, but it's not that strong because adaptability literally just does more damage. You're dealing, I believe, probably about 30 to 40% more damage with adaptability. Although, keep in mind, with versatility, you get stab on anything, so you're kind of switching between those. So say for one boss fight, you're fighting in steel, dual stab hits everything you need to hit, then you run adaptability. But for the other boss fight, you might want stab on a specific move to kill something that you wouldn't kill otherwise, so then you run a versatility. It's really that simple. That's the beauty of having infinite usability capsules in a hack like this. So yeah, I did design all Pokemon to have two abilities that they switch between. He also has great utility, so as Riolo, you get Prankster. You will evolve relatively late at 35, purely because I didn't want people to have Aura Sphere 6th Sense Mega Lucario, Aura Sphere 6th Sense base Lucario for Olivia, because Aura Sphere is a TM you can get before her, and I did not want that. It's just, it resists Rock 4 times. It's just too much, as cool as it is. But 35 is still very fair. That's pretty much right after Olivia for the most part, if the level curve in my head is actually what it is in game. But yeah, lastly, I'll just quickly wrap it up by talking about Riolu. Up until level 35, it's fine. It's frail as hell, obviously, but it is pretty damn fast and pretty damn strong, and it has great utility with Prankster, with stuff like Charm, Befriend, Screech, Fake Tears, Detect, Timeout, which is fighting type recover, and other, Encore, all kinds of really cool stuff you can do. And then Defiant is just a pretty solid ability. Keep in mind there are tons of new moves in this hacker that always drop your stats, stuff like Breaking Swipe, Aurora Beam, and then like literally Mystical Fire and like 10 other moves that I cannot even. There's a lot of them, okay? There's a section for it on the move sheet, and those moves are very strong. Not to mention there are tons of actual stat dropping moves like that aren't attacks that will drop your stats. So having to find in a game with that many Pokemon that have that many type of moves is really useful. Not to mention Intimidate is way more common as well. So in general, abilities like Define and Competitive are way better now. Not that they were bad before. But yeah, I'll honestly leave it off there. Like I said, great utility as well. I mean, you have great setup. It's Lucario, okay? Really fun things you can play around with. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'm trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes. Hopefully this one still is, despite all the stuff I had to cover. And I appreciate you listening. Definitely make sure you subscribe. I just hit 900, so thank you for that. And I'm trying to hit 1K next, so help me get there. I really appreciate it. And goodbye.